Hello everybody, that one pony here. I know I said I wasn't going to make another video this month, but I felt like this is an important thing I have to talk about. Yes, I'm in my fanboy clothes. You can see me with my little skirt going on. Anyway, what I want to talk about is nothing to do with my channel. Well, kind of has something to do with my channel. It's something I need for my channel, so that way it could progress on content. As you guys may know, I've been recording on Ponytown. That's where my series is made, but I've also made clear that I've been wanting to make another series based off of the books Fallout Equestria and my books Fallout New Equestria, which is why Ashes Town is very important. And this is what this video is all about. Now recently, Ashes Town got an update. Yeah, I know, it got another update. It's got several updates, which is not bad. I'm not complaining about that. I love the updates. The updates are the best part about it. Now, this particular update, let me see what version it is. Now, currently, as I am making this video, the version is 1.26.0 alpha. And specifically, what I want to talk about isn't the winter. Obviously, they're going to add winter. It's winter time. But it's something else. Now, when you first get this menu, you get something that looks like this, right? And the first thing that reads is add player versus player combat, add option to enable PvP in party, add score system, add randomized spawn locations during PvP. That's what it says at the top. Now, there's obviously more, but that's what we're mainly focused on. Now, pay attention to that, right? It just says added player versus... It says this, word for word. Added player versus player combat. Added option to enable PvP in party. Added score system. Added randomized spawns and locations during PvP. Now, they aren't fully wrong about this. Fully? What do you mean, that one pony? Well, I'm going to explain that. Now, if you actually go onto the game, you start a party, and you want to start a PvP mode, you might get something that says you're required to be supporter tier status 2. Now, that is the problem that we're going to be talking about. That is the main focus of this video today. You have to be a tier supporter 2 to activate PvP. A game mode, mind you, that should have been there to begin with. What do you mean, that one pony, you might ask once again? It's Ashes Town. What is it based off of? Well, it's based off of Fallout Equestria. And what is Fallout Equestria based off of? Fallout. The games. The game's Fallout. So, and I've been asking myself this for a while too, right? There's a game called Fallout 76, and it actually is a multiplayer Fallout game. It's the only multiplayer Fallout game at the moment that I'm talking about this. I doubt that they're going to make any more multiplayer Fallout games. But it works. You get a party of 4 maybe, and you do whatever the fuck you want. In a way, they could have just took that and applied it to their game, but they didn't even do that. It's understandable if they still want people to actually pay for their game so that way they can work on more projects, get more projects done, which is understandable. Which is why I'm saying this, right? If you're gonna do that, make it tier 1. Just do tier 1. Tier 1, I'm going to explain how much these tiers cost. Tier 0 is free, which means you get Discord benefits. Tier 1, more Discord benefits. You get extra slots to a few things, and that's about it. Oh, and you get a little colored thing. That's pretty nice. What else do you get? Just more Discord benefits. Very helpful, right? Like, you're ever going to use those Discord benefits, right? You're probably just going to listen to what they have to say in the announcements, and it's going to be the same bullshit that you have to hear. Which fucking sucks. Anyway, Tier 1 costs $3 a month. Tier 2 costs $5 a month. And Tier 3 costs $10 a month. Now, I don't know why in God's name you'd want to pay for Tier 3 which is the highest tier you could get. Not even fucking diamond tier, straight up diamond tier from PT Ponytown can actually compare to this. PT's version is actually better because at least you get infinite AFK timeout. You actually get more to do with your things. Like, I don't know, edit your islands. That's one of the things that also should have been there to begin with, but that wasn't there. Editing your island is probably the most important things that shouldn't have been there, and they didn't even add that. Instead, they were too busy on adding a PvP mode. A PvP mode, which, once again, should have still been there since the very beginning. If you're going to make a Fallout-related game, I feel like that's the first thing you would have done, is how is combat going to look like? And I'm sure someone definitely did think about that, because there's NPCs that you could actually fight. And yeah, you could use some of your melee weapons. However, it's so fucking useless because your melee weapons don't actually hurt any other players, like how people thought it was when it first got updated. It only hurts NPCs. NPCs that only spawn in one specific location, too. So you would have to be in a specific location in order for you to get into a fight. So here's what I'm proposing. I'm hoping that the Ashes Town developers see this. They probably already seen my comment before where I was trying to cancel my membership. Wasn't really letting me. I just thought this was bullcrap because the process of just changing your membership is even more difficult than anything. You have to figure out how to just stop your membership and then re-enable it, which sometimes it won't even let you. So I'm going to propose this to Ashes Town as a recommendation. You don't actually have to do what I'm saying, but it is a recommendation. I actually play Fallout, the actual games that your book, the book was based after, your game is based after. So I hope you take inspiration for what I gotta say. Nothing wrong with the vault suits, nothing wrong with the stable, nothing wrong with anything. I feel like there needs to be more bases that lead to factions, but I feel like that could be added on later. What I think that should be added right now is NPCs that randomly spawn in random spots, so wherever the fuck you may be, you might have an encounter of random NPCs that will come to attack you. Now, this isn't just going to be a random encounter where you get attacked and you're probably fucked, and then if you kill them, you don't get rewarded. It's the situation where you do get rewarded. And how do you get rewarded? Well, simple. What's the most hardest thing it is to find in Ashes Town? Well, you have to spend hours collecting caps and hoping that no one else touches those caps that you're trying to collect. So why don't you add NPC battles where you could earn caps for just being in a random fight? And at that, why don't you add random occurrences where your weapons actually can break? Your weapons take damage too. And how about this? Maybe a third thing shouldn't actually be there. Doesn't really need to. But how about a level system? You already got the RP thing going on, and what does most RPs need? A level system. Or else people are just making up their own levels and they could just be as OP as they fucking want. So why don't you just create a level system? Have all the OP players who actually play Fallout get to that OP level that they are, and all the fake people who think that they play Fallout could actually be clear that they don't play Fallout. They won't have any caps. They won't have any missions accomplished, which brings me to another thing. Missions. If you're going to have NPCs, now I'm not saying this is fully needing to be there. It's a recommendation. If you're going to have NPCs, what I'm thinking you should do, since you already have that icon where you could interact with them and buy things, why don't you have an interaction where you could actually physically talk with the NPC, not like on screen where it shows you every word that the NPC is showing. How about the same screen where the tab pops up, but instead of showing you things to buy, it shows you things you could say, and then it shows another sidebar of what that pony is saying to you. Once again, that's something Fallout did. Be able to choose whatever you want to say to interactions that aren't actually real. If you were to interact with a player, you could still have those interactions. Let's say you have like a an emote bar. It's not actually an emote, right? You could have conversations with people, but you wouldn't really need that. You could just start a party, do whatever the fuck you want, and yada yada yada. Guns is another thing. I've known that I actually know two PT servers. One got shut down because it wasn't actually supposed to be up, and one I think is still in development. One of those you may have seen in my previous videos where Jokester was holding a gun and was shooting at Diana Dopehead. In that server, they legitimately had guns. Now, they didn't work, like hurt player work, but they went off. You could hold them with your horn, you could hold them with your mouth, and you could actually shoot. Now, what I'm thinking is Ashes Town should add that, where they add guns that could actually shoot, but with a catch. I'm thinking they should add at least like 3 different trade centers. One that has a gun stand, an actual gun stand, where you could buy guns that actually go off, actually harm players, but they cost too much caps. That's what I'm thinking. They should cost at least fucking 10,000 caps. So that way it's not so fucking easy to just buy guns, right? You need to actually use melee weapons to actually build up, right? And then the higher you get plasma guns and you get laser weapons, right? So you have 3 stands. And not even just go with that, you have grenades in them. Add plasma grenades, add EMPs, add all of that good stuff, and bam, you got yourself a good game. Not even just that, there could even be a story mode. Not like an actual story mode, but like I was saying before, where you could chat with NPCs. If you're gonna do that, and you take that in consideration, maybe you'll take this in consideration. A story mode. How about, like, new players, the ones that, like, just start playing Ashes Town, so they'll be really new to this, right? They start in Ashes Town, and the first thing they get to choose is whether or not they want to start in the stable or start outside. If they start in the stable, then story mode is activated. Nobody's in the stable besides NPCs, will say, and only one special area is actually reserved for, let's say, people who are doing their role plays, or people who are doing a raid that could be a part of a mission to saving a vault. Which reminds me, Vault or Stable 49, I keep calling it Vault. That's how much you should know I like Fallout. Stable 49. It's the only stable you actually see on Ashes Town, which isn't really quite surprising. It's not really lore and appetizing. It's just there for the players to spawn in, or nodding towards, once again, Fallout players, the players who actually play Fallout and want to come out of a vault and be the new stable dweller. But that's just a consideration. Why don't you just do, like, maybe raids? You already got the NPC thing going on. Like I said before, you could have all of those random encounters and call those raids. Or like how Fallout 76 has, you could create this thing where players can create expeditions or something where they have to clear ghouls and they get teleported to a different island. An island that is not the original server island, right? It's still a part of that, but it takes you to a different place. Similar to how walking into outside to the stable doors takes you to the stable part of the server. You're not actually outside anymore. Similar like that, right? You add a different island that is public to everyone, but it's only accessible if you're in a party and you have at least 3 members, depending on what the raid is. And what that raid would look like is you go to a whole island. It looks fucked up, right? Let's say it's fucked up because this is a Fallout game. It's not just going to look all gray and shit. It's going to look fucking fucked up. There's going to be nukes everywhere, right? Let's say craters are right here and craters here, right? Bodies everywhere. We see plenty of bodies in Ashes Town. I've seen a couple of dead NPC bodies. And not NPC, just art designs. I'm thinking they should add more of that stuff. I know that, like, it's not, like, kid-friendly, but it's not supposed to. I think that's what they should take for consideration. This isn't a kid's game. I feel like throughout the years, people have just considered it a kid's game because of PT. And because of PT, it's now associated as a kid's game. But in reality, if you actually go around Ashes Town, and this is what I'll thank the Ashes Town devs for, I love how beautiful it is. They are not afraid to add what they think is necessary to make their shit feel creepy. Like for instances, hanging ponies, dead ponies, ponies blown in half, and I think that's it. Just lying dead ponies, maybe too. The thing that I feel like should be added, though, is more dead bodies. But of course, interactable dead bodies. So sometimes you may interact with a dead body, there's nothing there, or you interact with a dead body and you find something. Final, not third thing. I don't know why I keep saying third. Final thing I would like to say and recommend, not say, recommend is a clothing system. Oh, but yeah, you could edit your pony and put clothes on your pony already. What if you took that away, though? That's probably the most unique thing that I could give as a recommendation. What if you just took that away? The characters can no longer edit themselves. Why do I say that? Well, once again, to fit in with the game a little more, and let's say there's like an option where you could actually change the settings to fix that, like RP mode and non-RP mode, right? Similar to how they got their thing going on with the supporter thing, which is still bullshit. What I'm thinking is that you could do an option where you could swap clothes with different ponies, request to swap clothes, and purchasable clothes, along with clothes you automatically spawn in. Let's say I'm a new player. I just created a new account for Ashes Town. I'm so excited. I get the theme of Ashes Town. I played Fallout, and I've also played PT. But I join Ashes Town for the first time, right? This is what that would look like. I make a new OC, but I don't give the OC clothes. As soon as I start in, I will be spawned in with a stable suit. The same stable suit that they automatically have for when you first start in anyway, with the pony. The default pony. You add that, and then you add more clothing. So let's say there's like specific clothing like this and this, and you add a lot of it because once again, Fallout is not afraid to just repeat and add the same clothes over and over, but you don't need to make it over excessive, obviously. Still add enough clothing items that like people can trade with, people can change out of, and all of that. And have specific kind of stuff. So like let's say burnt clothes, radioactive clothes, dirty clothes, raider clothes, and let's say even crippled clothing. Because if you're crippled, you might not want to walk around. Which, okay, now this is the final thing. Because now that I bring it up, that system. It's not called VATS in Fallout Equestria. I don't remember what it was called, but VATS. What I'm thinking is, if you've already get the combat thing going on and all of that, and if they listen to me and change the supporter 2 thing to at least supporter 1, so that way people like me can also keep making their videos and also not have to be exclusively paying for a lot of fucking shit. I'm thinking what they could do is out of that system where instead of having to roll the dice to figure out how much damage you take to a person, you could just straight up use VATS without taking away the fact that you could still have PvP mode. Let's say PvP mode is activated. I could still wham bam hit someone regularly and he's going to take damage. However, if I use VATS mode, it would actually just straight up tell me how much damage that person is going to take. When I don't use VATS, it's just going to be randomized, right? So let's just say that VATS, in a way, is that percentage thing. It doesn't actually tell you, hey, you hit here, right? It just tells you how much percentage this person has in the head, the legs, the arms, and then you could either just tell him, hey, I'm gonna hit your arms, or just whack him in the face in PvP mode, and bam. Or you could actually go all the way out, and actually make it like that's exactly where a person needs to probably. Well, not even probably. What I'm thinking is that they would probably just not even be able to move once VATS is activated. But I feel like, once again, that should have an exclusive thing. So if VATS is added, and once again there's like a story mode thing, I think there should be an option to be one of three things: a Vault Dweller, a Raider, or just a common folk. Or even a fourth option, we'll say, where you could be a ghoul for all you care. You could just be a really hated ghoul. You're hated by everyone because everyone's racist, we'll say, right? That could be a story. That could just be a side story mode with all the side quests and all of that. So, this brings me to my final thing I have to say to you, devs of Ashes Town. I'm gonna say this because most of you have only read the books of Fallout Equestria, but I can guarantee only at least 10 of you, or 20 of you, because there is a lot of you, but at least few of you have actually played Fallout and understand the complexity of how good it is. And I know to the ones that have also probably not have played Fallout 1 and 2, the actual 2D Fallout games that should be more like how Ashes Town is. So, my final message to you, Ashes Town devs. Play Fallout. Play Fallout. Play Fallout 1. Play Fallout 2. Play Fallout Tactics. And hell, play Wasteland and Wasteland 2, the originals. Don't just play Fallout 1 and 2. Play Wasteland 1 and 2. And then work on your game. I feel like you guys are working on one thing one at a time, and then one at a time. It should be clear by how much updates we're getting that you're working on one thing at a time instead of a bunch of projects to release at once. You're just releasing one thing. Now, I mean, in this case, it's not really one thing. You got PvP mode going. There was a little more stuff, like extra stuff on the map. Things have moved a little bit and all of that. That's not really that big, though. Yes, it takes long, but it's not big. A lot of people play Ashes Town. Even the people who can't play Ashes Town, believe it or not, are playing Ashes Town. So, the least they can do is make it good. Or not good, it already is good, right? I'm thinking they need to make it better. Most of the people who do play Fallout, or not Fallout, but Ashes Town do play Fallout, or understand the complexity of the story of Fallout. It isn't just rainbows and shit where you're just waking up in this world and the blah blah blah. Yes, there still is the sense of role-playing that can still go on there, but exclusively, I think the game should exclusively be multiplayer. You shouldn't have to be paying $5 to start a party with probably one person. Probably one person at least. 5 people at most. To fight people with. And get this, the party leader has to be tier 2 supporter. So it's not just like, you have the tier 2 supporter in your party. No, they have to be party leaders. So if they're the person you don't want to be the party leader and they just have that, congratulations. You can't do anything with that. The most funnest thing I was thinking about this thing earlier too was like how you could actually have a team versus team thing going on. But you can't actually do that. You're so limited to your parties and all of that it doesn't even matter. And even if it did, okay, well, this goes back to the island. Most people don't want to be fucking out in public islands because sometimes they get yelled at by other people for disrupting the peace or something like that when it's all accidental. So, just let people edit their islands. Just let people edit their islands, Ashes Town devs. Just let people do that. Or if you're gonna do that, and take my word for it, once again, and because you're going to want people to pay for your projects, that's clear. Understandable, right? I'm still saying, hey, make people pay, but don't pay, like, in between. Make people pay for the least amount of what they're paying for. Because if they're paying for the game that should already be free, that's why they got it on Google. That's why they're playing it on Google. They're not on the fucking Google Play or anything. They're on Google, a website. The website is a game. They're not paying for anything. They don't want to be paying for anything. It's the same reason why they play Ponytown. They don't want to be paying for anything. If they're going to be paying for anything, it needs to be worth it. Which is why when people pay for Tier 4 supporter in Ponytown, it's worth it because they get infinite timeout, they get infinite this, a lot of shit for their islands, a lot of shit for their house. They get actual stuff. In Ash's Town, however, that's just cut. That's pretty much cut. The most AFK you're gonna get is an hour of AFK timeout. The most you're gonna get done on your island is a house that's gonna look great, but your island's still gonna look like shit, which isn't even what you're going for, right? Your island's still gonna wanna look like shit because it's a Fallout wasteland. It's a Fallout wasteland, but I feel like if they're gonna do anything with that shit, right? I think you would take in consideration that every fucking person on Ash's Town has the same fucking island. How are they gonna get role-playing done on their islands? The only role-playing they could do is inside their fucking house. And if they go outside, they can't fucking edit anything to just be there for their role-plays. They have to fucking imagine it. Which, yeah, cool. Imagination. We've all been there. But at that point, you might as well, right? Ponytown already did it. All the fucking other servers still have that as an option. Except Ash's Town. So just add that. Get rid of everything I just told you, right? Just stop making people pay $5 a month. A month, so not even just $5 once. A month to fucking play PvP. Make it $3 a month instead. So at least it's cheaper, but you're still paying every fucking month, right? And then you're still saving enough money to actually pay for other shit. Like, let's say you're a gamer and you want to play games on Steam. Actual games. Games that you're actually going to stream. Because I don't know if you realized that Ash's Town is so underpopular that it never gets live stream. Despite it being a really good Fallout game, in my opinion, it's more better than Fallout 76 because of how you could actually interact with people. I think it could be even better, though, if they just made it multiplayer in general, like it should have been. But since it's too late for that, you might as well just make it $3. One membership, $3. Pay it every month, maybe once every 2 months at that. If you really wanted to make it cheap, but I doubt you would want, because projects. They should just do that. Just do that. Don't even fucking think about what I'm saying. Just do it. Make the NPCs actually go everywhere else, spawn randomly, attack players that are doing their thing, but also make it so that way there's a recognition of who's AFK and who isn't. If you're not AFK, like let's say you weren't just sitting there for 5 minutes without touching your thing, like your computer screen, your phone, or something like that, then NPCs will come towards you, or won't come towards you. You're AFK. They won't be towards you. If you're just not AFK, though, they'll spawn on you. Yeah, that could cause high risk, but you're not losing anything. The most I would say, which is another consideration, is that you could lose at least 6 caps. One of the things that, once again, Fallout 76 does is if you die, you actually get charged to respawn. Now, by the time you get 0 caps and you've wasted all your caps, I believe that the respawn should just be automatically free, or at least 1 cap. Because, yeah, I feel like add that too. You have caps in the game, right? Why don't you just make the settings like What, instead of making people pay for tier 2 supporter, why don't you make them pay for the PvP mode with caps? Now that I think about it, why don't you just fucking do that? People are always fucking collecting caps, have nothing to do with them because they have too fucking much to do with it. And even if they can spend it on something, it's just a matter of how much fucking space they have. You might as well just fucking change it to, hey, this setting costs this much caps. Or hell, even make it not even like 3,000 to 5,000 caps to just buy the setting, right? How about you make it like, let's say 10 caps an hour, or 100 caps a day. 100 caps 24 hours, right? 200 caps 2 days, 300 caps 3 days, 400 caps 4 days, right? Why don't you make it like that? Where, like, people can actually buy PvP mode for a limited time. They don't have to fucking spend all of their actual hard-earning money on a game that isn't really doing so good anyway. Which is surprising. I'm a supporter. I've always supported Ashes Town. So, if I get hated on this, I hope I don't, because I'm actually supporting it. I'm trying to make the game better, and the fact that no one... Well, someone probably thought of this, but the fact that it's never been brought up is fucking surprising. It should just be like Fallout 1, but less complicated and more multiplayer. There shouldn't be a pay for this kind of thing. If you're paying for something that shouldn't really be there, it should be there to begin with, then why are you supporting that game? I'm choosing to still support it because I love that game. I still make content with that game, which is another thing I hope they consider. For me, I make content with all of that stuff. So if there's certain stuff I'm not seeing, then it's a problem. Because if I'm able to do all of that in Ponytown but not in Ashes Town, literally a duplicate of Ponytown, then what's the fucking problem? What's the fucking problem? I don't know why. And this should also tell you, Ashes Town, I have been paying for tier 1 supporter for you guys. I'd have no reason to pay for tier supporter 2 or tier 3 until recently when you guys changed this setting. Which is probably why you did it. But your guess is better than mine, right? In Ponytown, and you guys are really gonna laugh at this, right? In Ponytown, it costs $27 to pay for a tier 4 supporter. Which, oh my god, that's a lot. You might as well be paying for fucking phone service, right? Wrong. You see, at least I actually get all the benefits that I'm promised. And at least there's no additional benefits that come on later.